Open Topics with Don Armando. All right, so I'm here. All right, so tonight I'm just making a little impromptu stream talking about the recent passing of the president of Iran and his foreign minister. So my well, I just went up and I made this stream because the news they're gonna have their opinions. I just want to get people opinion because I'm not well versed when it comes to the Middle East, but I know that I do love eating Middle Eastern food. So my thing is that now, since of the passing of Iran's president, how would it change the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East? Because I know that certain countries within the Middle East do not get along, especially when it's talking about Yemen and the nation of Israel. So my my question is, due to this recent passing of the president, what what are the variables that actually happened? Because I've been hearing reports of the Iranian government blaming the United States of not getting the adequate parts for that helicopter, and in other cases, I mean, the countries within that region. What how would it affect the Iranian people, and not only the Iranian people, but the the Shia Muslims that actually looked towards Iran for, I guess, spiritual guidance or whatever. So those are my questions. And if anybody's listening, people who are from the Iranian community in the West Coast or on the East Coast, or anybody who's actually well versed in Middle Eastern geopolitical stances, feel free to come to my page. I got the link in my description. I'm on YouTube, X, and on Twitch. So I just want to talk because I've actually seen the funeral procession. It was sad, but you could actually see that the Iranian people have respect for their leader. So I just want to know everybody's opinions on this subject matter. All right, so I'm back. So I'm back. So since I don't know about if Americans are speaking about it, I don't know about everybody else in within the Western world. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not familiar with Iranian culture, but I have read like when I was younger about Ayatollah Khomeini and I guess the hostage situation that lasted from 1979 till 1981 when the Iranian Revolution started in 1979 and it overthrew the leadership of the Shah Reza Pahlavi. So when I was actually a teenager, I used to watch, I guess, on Channel 25 in New York. It was actually older Persian shows before the takeover, and those shows were actually nice. They actually had programs that was actually describing. I guess it was made by Iranians that was living in America, displaying the Iranian or Persian culture. So I used to watch that as a teenager, and it was a very good detective show that I used to watch on Channel 25 when it was actually when I actually read subtitles. So with that said, I know that Iran had a lot of presidents, but I know that the supreme leader is Ayatollah Khamenei, not Khomeini, Khamenei. So that's that's my own knowledge to the extent when it comes to Iran. And I know that in Iran they actually practice 12ers Shia Islam. So 12ers, I've heard the name. I think it's I think it's the sect of Shia Islam. Maybe it was made in the 12th century. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, but I do know that within Shia Islam, you have a lot of schools within that that part of Islam and everything. So with that said, Iran has had a beautiful and a tumultuous history. It was even to the point that they said that Genghis Khan eliminated the carbon footprint of that nation once upon a time. And they only actually had more of that carbon footprint that actually started to come back in numbers after the 1800s. So those are the things that I do know about Persia, which is now called Iran. I do also know that there's been a lot of dynasties within Iran, which is I think you had the Chaldean dynasty, you had you had the King Darius, Xerxes. Uh, I know in the Bible it was a king that they call Ahasuerus, and a lot of people have. I know from the top of my brain, reading on history books that I have read, a lot of people were actually talking about Cyrus the Great. So That's to the extent that I do know about Iran. Now, albeit dur- during to the revolution or anything like that, yeah, sorry, that was some background noise. So I actually had to mute the mic, so therefore I won't get copyright stricken or anything. So that's what I actually had to do. So I know between Cyrus the Great, I know Darius of the Medes. Well, I know that's actually the Bible, and a lot of other great leaders within the Persian Empire or Persian empires. So I do know that Iran has a beautiful history and a tumultuous one as well. When you actually put Genghis Khan into the mix. So with that said, I actually saw some of the funeral procession. I don't know if the music that they were playing was part of the Iraqi, the Iranian, sorry, the Iranian national anthem, but yeah, it was solemn. But you could actually see that there was a lot of respect with those leaders that had lost their life during that plane crash. So I just wanted to actually talk about it because I know it's a international topic. It actually shocked us all, to tell you the truth, of the passing of those leaders. I think it was everybody in that helicopter. I think it was 6 or 7 persons that lost their life. I'm not sure, but during the funeral procession, I saw something that I never really seen in any other funeral. I've seen within the coffins of the individuals that lost their life. I seen that they actually put a photo of those individuals on their coffins. Now, I have not seen that before, and the Iranian soldiers they're actually um, walking with the coffins of those ill-fated individuals. So it was it was a solemn ceremony, and but at the same time, you could actually see the love and the respect the Iranian people and the Iranian government had for those individuals. And one thing I could say that a funeral is not good if you really love that person, but when you see other people have their have their funeral customs and you're just a observer, one thing you have to keep in mind, you have to observe without prejudice because it's their culture and it's their customs. So with that said, I know every country or culture has its customs when it's have their own funerary customs. But one thing I could actually say it was a solemn funeral procession, and you could see the onlookers and I guess government officials have that love and respect for that person. Now, with that said, I'm not gonna I'm not going to talk about the person that passed because there's been a lot of news reports that they actually called the late president of named, which I'm not gonna mention because of respect because he was a world leader. So I guess he was known by a lot of nicknames. So this is my outlook and what I'm saying about those world leaders. I don't know. I guess a lot of people are looking in the clouds. You could get the mics up. If anybody is welcome to talk about the issue, feel free. I got the for anybody who's looking on YouTube. I got the chat link under this on the description, and let's talk about Iran. I mean, we have to talk about Iran respectfully. Hey, Gigi, how you doing? I'm just actually having a talk about the latest topic, which is the passing of the Iranian president. So I'm not going to front. I do not know that much about Iran, but I do know some of the history. So I just wanted to make the discussion to see if this passing will actually affect the geopolitical spectrum in the Middle East. But other than that, Gigi, how you doing? How's everything? How's your shows coming? Because I've seen some of your live streams. It's good. I'm actually good though. I'm just I guess waiting for Memorial Day. So trying to see how that is. My YouTube's been acting finicky because I have to be- I'm but it's saying that I'm not subscribed or when I do try to subscribe to some of the famous content creators, I do know that I'm having a problem and just saying it's an error. So now YouTube saying that I follow too many people, or I don't know what's going on. Nah, it was actually a helicopter to tell you the truth, Gigi. So they have said within the news report that the helicopter did not have a. Oh yes, how are you doing, bro? I have not seen you in a long time, man. Shoot, we gotta talk some business, Reese. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, I'm trying to have my own get up soon. So you know, I'm trying to have my get up. Hopefully, hopefully when I get certain things in order, I might be live streaming where I might just be in a different place or whatever. So oh okay, that's what's up. Yeah, with that said, there's been news reports, I guess, with what's his name, Diddler and his fake confession and everything. That I guess his first baby mother said, I guess when they saw that shocking video of Mr. Combs and Cassie, that it actually reignited her own traumas with this crust bag, aka the CEO of Bad Ploy Records. So you know how I'm just using the word of play, Bad Ploy Records, because there was once upon a time, I'm just saying, like within my aspect, a lot of people loved Puffy. They loved the bad boy image. Notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack, the late Black Rob, and I guess you could say Danity Kane and Day 26 and all that. But with all that said, I think that some of these reality shows have actually showed that that some of these business owners, they might have had or have lacked business etiquette. So with that said, and the insults and everything that I've seen within his show, uh, with Bad Ploy Records, my thing is that now, and the rumors that I've actually heard from the time, saying that Diddy's parties or white parties or anything like that was the party to go to. Now I'm not so sure about that because there was actually a comedian that actually outed Diddy. So I think it was a white or a Mexican comedian, if I'm not mistaken. And this had to be years ago. So it's like all the stuff that it might be shocking now. I've always heard stuff between people that I've known in the music industry, whether it be producers, rappers that I've met, or up and coming rappers that have familial connections with Diddy or people that know Diddy. I mean, to be honest, to certain people to certain people that actually want to be put on, the first choice is not going to be Diddy because he has a bad history of staffing his artists. First of all, sup Irby, sup Skellyton. So that's another topic. And then talking about the dynamics of Diddyism or whatever the case may be. I mean, even though we're making Diddy out to be the culprit of a lot of debauchery, this and now I'm going back to the Middle East, not Iran, but Dubai. I mean, the United Arab Emirates. Now, I guess because YouTube has its censors and everything like that. I'm just gonna actually put it into a vernacular people have that people know, or my own way down when to twist these words, so I could just slither through the YouTube guidelines. So even though that in the United States, Diddy is now, I guess, the worst offender, and I guess certain stuff will be revealed in the long run because they've been talking about Diddy since October or November of last year, if I'm not mistaken. So now we're going to talk about the debauchery of the the quote unquote debauchery of the Middle East. Now, it's alleged that when you see a beautiful woman, whether it be on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or on YouTube, of course, that they're actually beautiful, they look like they're accomplished women. A rumor has it that most of these women that actually make videos in Dubai and they look like that there are single women are getting the royal golden treatment, but not in a good way. And they're being humiliated and be forced to be uh, and forced to ride the Hershey highway, but not in the good sense, or participate in Hershey activities with a golden drink in mind. So I'm just saying, it's G rated. I'm skirting by the YouTube guidelines, but they say that some humiliation rituals will be happening in Dubai or Abu Dhabi to those beautiful female influencers. Don't care what race they are, doesn't care if they're white, Hispanic, black, Asian. If you see a single woman allegedly uh, in Dubai being an influencer, 9 times out of 10, they got humiliation. They have been humiliated with the yellow drink and a Hershey Highway Express, if you know what I mean. I mean, I heard back in the day that the comedian Cat Williams had a girlfriend, and allegedly she partook in those activities, and he broke up with that woman. So that's where I guess it comes to the the activities that I just actually mentioned. To me, it's like that. I'm going to be honest. I have gotten on my Instagram, right? I have gotten a lot of these so-called companies that want me to be their brand ambassador. Now, albeit I used to rap, but after my mother passed, I I tried to, but it's like if I'm going to actually do music again, I want to actually do it in the right steps, or at least try to be within the sphere of the music industry without actually signing a bad contract, knowing the stuff that I do know. So I just wanted to be independent all the way along because if you really look at it, being in a record label and you have to be a mindless employee to somebody. I rather think that independence is the way to go. The reason why is that you actually made you actually made the business sacrifices by yourself, and you could reap the rewards by yourself. As in, I guess if you sign a major record deal and you do not know your legal aspects or you do not have a lawyer with you, 9 times out of 10, you might be screwed out of a contract and quote unquote, you might be participating in those Hershey Highway rituals, whether you're a man or a woman. So, as you know, we know what Harvey Weinstein was about and all the others. So that's just talking about the American music industry. I wonder if these shenanigans actually go on in the Asian music industry or the European music industry. Because you've seen a lot of artists who are actually on the Afro beats. I don't know if they're signed or if they're independent, but you've seen that they're actually having a lot of traction now with the with the TikTok and YouTube dances. So, shout out to them. Yo, salute Sage, how you doing? Sage, I was just talking about, this the joint that happened in Iran. The recent passing of the Iranian president. And now I'm trying to get anybody that knows more about the subject than I to see how the passing of those individuals, rest in peace to them, how it's going to change the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. Yeah, it does. I mean, I have heard reports. I don't know, but I guess it's unconfirmed that the Iranian government blames the U.S. because of the parts of the helicopter that was not adequate because I guess of the embargo that we have against Iran and I guess Russia now and Cuba. So it's like I don't know if it's gonna be a blame game. I was just like I'm just waiting to see like okay, where is oh it's America's fault. It's gonna be thrown in somewhere or somehow. So I guess it's just a waiting game. I mean, it could, but then the way that but the thing is though, the way I get from what I read is how the Iranian leadership works is that this guy, even though he has the title of president, and you've seen a lot of presidents come and go in Iran, the real the real him or the real head of this autocracy is the Sheikh is Ayatollah Khamenei, not Ayatollah Khomeini. Ayatollah Khomeini passed away years ago. Ayatollah Khamenei, I guess now has the record for being the oldest head of state because he's actually 85 years old. So all the presidents that are in Iran, whatever rules or anything or bylaws that they have or decree that they have in Iran, it has to go through the Ayatollah first, since he is like the spiritual and cultural leader of Iran right now. Yeah, it is. It's been well. It was confirmed that it was the helicopter crash, but then I guess the mountains were so thick and everything like that, and then I guess yesterday it was confirmed that the Iranian president and the foreign minister lost their lives during that tragic event. Yeah, I got to do something. Right. Yeah, I guess it could be, but I'm not going to actually explore that unless if I have a lot of information on that. So I guess it could be far fetched, but then I lack information in that field. Exactly. Yep. Hmm. So, in other news, my music fanatics, who do you think is winning this quote unquote lyrical war? Is it Kendrick or is it Drake? Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this because I've heard some of the diss tracks, Drake's tracks and Kendrick. I mean, in my aspect, I think that Kendrick has an edge, but then maybe Drake might have more because he's actually revealing info about Kendrick. So I don't know what's going on between those two, but I have heard the game diss, and it actually sounds credible on the way that he actually dissed Rick Ross. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that Kendrick won because I don't know. I haven't heard like a good credible comeback with that. So I get it's, but I have heard the record labels tried begging Kendrick to stop this beef because it's affecting their money. I remember when it was the Jay Z and Nas beef that how they show up that certain companies have gains and they have losses. So the year that Jay Z and Nas they had their lyrical battle, Def Jam lost like a lot of money during that battle. I guess that year during the battle between Nas and Jay Z. So, in my opinion, Nas won that battle. But then you have certain people that say that Jay Z won with the takeover. But I don't know. Yes. I For some reason I was just listening to that today, with Kanye. I was like, dang. It just has that old West Coast feel. And whoever made that beat, I could actually say like that beat bangs. And I like listening to that beat even more. Not like us. Because he said a lot of true stuff. And it makes you think that the way that does business, he actually called him a colonizer. That was deep and thought provoking. Talking about music and one person I could actually say that has that I'm actually starting to feel right now is that guy Tony Richmond, uh, millionaire. Uh, I don't know what the song's called. I just don't connect my thoughts. I could actually say that that song "Million Dollar Baby" is actually catchy. So you have to actually watch this guy Tommy Richmond come out because I don't know what he's doing or anything like that. This is like my first time hearing of him, and I could actually say that his music is going to be the summer anthem this year. Watch, and he's from VA too. Then I also heard that Tommy Richmond's an opera student. So if you're an opera student and they teach you all the ranges on how to sing and everything like that, then you could apply to any track. Not only dude is a professional singer, a professionally trained singer, but if that track "Million Dollar Baby" becomes a summer hit, that's going to be the summer song. I predict that's going to be the summer song, "Million Dollar Baby." So that's just my view on it. Yeah, I mean, you're right on that, Scully Tongue. I mean, think about it. If if Pusha T body Drake and he's still catching feelings, they not like us went up and body Drake. I mean, the guy, Kendrick is a beast. I mean, he went up. A lot of people said that he actually dropped like three diss tracks, like within the past, or 5 or 6 diss tracks in the span of like 4 or 5 days. Like that. That's I haven't heard that. But if a person is doing all of that, you could tell that Kendrick is actually dedicated to his craft, or he's been having this this is record for years, and he's just gonna put whichever one is out, which I actually say is perfect marketing. I mean, Scully, you have to admit something, and if anybody's been watching the career of Drake, right? Don't you find it a little bit weird that his first debut music video was of him being a high school basketball coach for, even though I know that the females are older, but the setting is just like prepubescent high school girls, and he's like the high school coach, and then the song that he actually put right there, the best I ever had, it did not match the video. Like it was like a disappointment to me. But then again, some of these videos are disappointments because I guess when I was growing up, you had the storyline videos, and then they might have had the next video, whatever, that continued the storyline. But then sometimes they had a good song, but the video had a storyline, but then it did not continue, and it just left a cliffhanger for years. So my thing is that even though I look at music videos now, they have, you know, They have a concept or anything like that. I don't see too much of a storyline anymore, to tell you the truth. So my thing is that if we're gonna make music videos, I'm saying within the rap genre, bring back the storylines because the storylines will make it captivating and interesting. But that's just me, though. Mm, interesting. Yeah, I agree too. So now, since everybody has their philosophies and everything like that, and not only society's eyes, but maybe a person's personal view. If you see a person, what will make that person a deviant to you? I mean, to your personal psyche, because everybody has different definition of what a deviant is. I mean, yeah, but it depends. Like, think about it. You see, when it comes to drill and I guess what you call gangster rap, rappers have street cred. Oh yeah, all those actions could actually happen. But then when you actually have rappers like Joyner Lucas, Logic, J. Cole, who else? Who else I'm saying is an intelligent rap? Talib Kweli and Most Def. Now, certain stuff might be happening in the background, but they would not actually have the rep of having violent interactions because their music is not really about violence. It's about uplifting and educating. So with that aspect, you could actually like you have certain people that they're like the ultimate tier rappers, but then I guess the ones that actually market negativity and ratchetness, they're the ones that actually I guess get the coin. So it's a and you're actually right, Irby, that is the minority. So I would rather actually listen to some music that actually have a positive input than something that talks about the same crap every day, which I guess for certain people they live that life, but then you have certain people that are just tired and they're trying to elevate from that life, if you get what I'm trying to say. Exactly. And I feel the same way. So Scully time. All right, I have a question. Well, I guess for anybody that lives outside the United States. In your respective countries, what is the music scenes like out there? Because I know that a lot of artists that actually go to different countries, they actually have concerts or whatsoever. So, what is like the music industry culture outside the United States? Because I know that more or less in the Dominican Republic, you have certain micro companies that actually, as far as rap and hip hop is concerned, and they're actually making their noise out there in the Dominican Republic, and they do tours in Europe and the United States and maybe Canada. And I know that certain other Latino countries they actually do the same, or sometimes they actually perform in Spain or whatsoever. But I want to know, more or less, like maybe saying the UK, Germany, the English speaking parts of the Caribbean, like like how their music industry is actually coordinated. Is it kind of rigid like it is here or in the UK, or is just a free for all micro companies, micro recording companies that actually have I guess more promotion or so. I just want to know. Oh yeah, the Rasta City and versus I guess I forgot what it is, but I was just talking to a Trinidadian lady the other day, and we were just talking about that. Scully, another question. What's the rapper on Bang Smurf is doing? Is he even a factor in Trinidad? Because I heard that he had like a few joints, and it was like another guy, and it was another guy that he was actually rapping as well. But even though it sounded like reggae, it wasn't. But I've been hearing about Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, wow. So is it true that the beef between the the Rastas and I guess the Muslims. This dates back from like when the Muslims tried to take over Trinidad. Because I saw a little bit about the history on that Scully time. Gotcha.
Yeah, there's also some YouTube channels that actually give an insight on what's going on in that spectrum. Also, very interesting. I mean, the way that they actually talk about it in documentary and they break down the history and such. It looked like that certain people who are actually not from Trinidad, they actually read or I guess talked to local sources about that happening. Hey, Don Jose, how you doing? Good evening.
Good evening, Don Armando. Thank you for allowing me on your platform.
Yeah, just 1 second.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. All right. So how you doing, Don Jose?
I'm doing fine. Today was another day that I was able to work remotely. Tomorrow and for the rest of the week, I'll be in the office. Good evening, Irby. Glad to see you on the chat, and shout out to everyone in the chat.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah,
One of our friends that we haven't seen in a long time came through. Shout out to Reese. So he's a solid one. And Gigi, I don't know if Gigi's still in the chat, but Gigi showed some love too.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
actually, our friend Denise, she did a stream this past Friday.
Yeah. I saw some of it on the playback.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't it doesn't look good for P Diddy. Diddy, that's for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't, because it's to the point that if you really look at it, I mean, Poop Dittler, that's why I call him, because if if a lot of people, they they actually put this guy on a pedestal. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When it was like around 1997, 1998, yeah, everybody wanted to be P Diddy, because I'm saying of my age group. But then after 98, 99, 2000, when certain people started to know about, you know, industry contracts and whatsoever, and people saying that did he shortchange them or robbed them out of their contract and such, it just got to the point that he was not the person that you didn't want to sign to. Yeah, he made some great music, but certain people that certain people that wanted to aspire to be a musician, he was not the person that you want to sign to,
Hmm.
because you're going to be working for free basically.
Yeah. Well, I did a stream regarding the, you know, what happened, the video what happened in 2016 with Cassie Ventura.
Yes,
Okay.
and I've heard Shine uh from Belize. He actually was mad at the actions that Diddy has taken, and he actually publicly um come against P Diddy on that. So as so one thing I gotta say is that I don't know where Diddy is right now. I guess he's still in Africa or Bali or wherever the heck he is. But I do know that wherever he's at, he better not come to the United States if he knows better.
Well, first of all, I mean, back in December, of course, he denied all the allegations made against him, talking about that the victims were trying to, hit him up for a payday. And then he comes up with, in my estimation, a pitiful excuse of an apology. Okay. Because first of all, it was not really directed towards the victims. It was more of a, you know,
Himself.
I mean, a more of a general apology, and basically it was a poor attempt of damage control.
Exactly. I mean, you have certain people in life that they actually do poor damage control, and they have poor damage control skills. And I've actually seen that with Diddy. He's like, I'm like, yeah, I saw what he said. I was like, the first words that he spoke, I just went up and I flipped to the next Instagram post. Like,
Yeah,
let's keep it real.
yeah.
Like Diddler, um, all right, I'm just gonna go for a stretch and everything like that. Everybody calls him Diddler, uh, Did no Diddy Combs. I got one thing they're gonna call him pubic hair Combs. I don't know, so
Mhm.
And with pubic hair Combs, um, Gene Dill, his former bodyguard, has says that within every tragedy, he's always changed his names.
Yeah, yeah. And and also there have been people that have been making some crazy accusations regarding the victim, talking about why they're coming out with the video 8 years after the fact. We don't know what she went through. And one thing we have to understand, that for the victims of domestic violence, sometimes it can take a long time for them, be able to sum up the courage to face their accuser. Unfortunately, in some cases, by the time they do that, the statute of limitation has expired.
Exactly.
So, as a result, the only course of action that's available is civil litigation. Okay.
Exactly. And then what a lot of people don't understand when it's talking about people who are powerful, right?
Yes.
And I've heard reports they were saying that whenever Miss Ventura went up and actually left Diddy, he actually had business partners or his connections either bring her back to Diddy. So that right there just told me that I'm like, okay, I could have business connections or anything like that. But if you're actually a willing compliance as a businessman or as a business entity, and you're gonna go bring a woman back to your abuser, whether these faceless companies are doing that, 9 times out of 10, I think they should be held accountable as well. Because hey, Not only you have you could have all the lawyers in the world, but if you're actually facilitating another person to be harmed just because of your business relationship with the abuser, I mean, certain people need to be held over for having bad ethics. That's just my thing.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, and one thing, one thing that we have to bear in mind, um, until you have been a victim of domestic violence yourself, you really don't know what these people go through. Okay. And I stated this before, and I'm going to state it again. No one, and I repeat, no one should assault another human being.
Right.
Okay. Because, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because, of course, we're taught that a man should never strike a woman. I mean, obviously, because we're physically stronger and we can hurt them real bad. But
Right.
just at the same time, a woman should never strike a man. Okay. Unfortunately, when that happens, basically the man's supposed to take it. Okay. So that's why I said no one should physically assault another human being.
Exactly.
And he's not, he's not, okay, he's not the first person that has a questionable history, and he's not going to be the last one.
Hmm.
Mhm. So, so for those who are, so those who are basically trying to cast aspersions regarding Casa Ventura, talking about that she's trying to get a payday. I mean, you don't know until you have actually experienced it yourself. You really don't know what's going on. You really don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, and certain people know who to prey upon. Okay, if you are a person with very low self-esteem, okay, you're going to become a target of assault. You're going to be a target of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then also it's like, but then sometimes it's not only it's not only low self esteem. People with high or low self esteem need to go and when boundaries are broken. I'm just saying any boundaries, right?
Yeah,
Women or men.
yeah.
But boundaries are broken to the point that you feel disrespected or somebody you want to feel comfortable in disrespecting you. You have to
Hmm.
set those boundaries. Like I'm not gonna be disrespected, and if you want to continue to disrespect me, you can get out my life.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to file suit, I'll leave. You will never have to. You will never know me again. I'll change my number. You're not going to harass me. You're not gonna do none of this stuff. Especially some of these doxing idiots that like to go around and put out people's information. I'm saying people who are doxing in general. So therefore, certain people we have to put boundaries. Like you want to go around and talk and feel so free to disrespect people, you're not going to disrespect me. You could go around and say what you want, but at the end of the day, let's put it in this perspective. You're not my friend. You could go around and talk about whatever, but 9 times out of 10, I got my boundaries in check. I'm not a anybody could have low self esteem, but then somebody could actually have high self esteem. But when certain people they actually have it in their mind that I did this, that, and the third, but then they want to try to treat you like it is the old times right now. The buck stops here. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah. And look, the fact of the matter is, what we need to do. Okay, maybe phrase it this way. Those of us who have children, we need to instill on them at an early age that they have their self worth, they have their value, and that no one should try to mistreat them in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
because if we fail to instill those values on our children, we're setting them up to be abused. Okay, by
Yeah.
some person that preys on people that they perceive to be weak.
Not only that, but then you have certain people who are just they have a predatory nature. And
Hmm.
I've seen this with certain individuals within, our sector and in the YouTube streets too.
Yeah.
So my thing is that says you have certain people that have a predatory nature,
Hmm.
and we've came across a lot of individuals that are accused or have had or have predatory natures. The only thing is that I put guidelines. If you're not going to go around and respect my guidelines, I don't need to talk to you. You could go around and make a whole bunch of videos about me and everything like that. But if I'm not responding, because I know most of these people, they're a bunch of cowards anyway. They will actually like to hide them. They'll actually like to throw a stone and then hide behind law enforcement or whatever the case may be. Half the time these people are not even worth it. And I was talking to somebody today that was like, these people, if you treat these people like you're gonna lose money and you don't mention them or anything like that, 9 times out of ten, they're just gonna go in. They're actually gonna go and bother somebody else. And when they do bother somebody else, there might be like God forbid, they might not be in a good space or in a good or a bad event might happen. So that's all I got to say.
Hmm. Yep, that is true. That is
Oh,
very true. So, I mean, do you think? Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you think Pete Diddy is going to be found guilty?
you know, it's too early to tell, and I'm going to tell you why. They might R. Kelly that man, and I'm gonna go tell you why I mean by R. Kelly. Right
Hmm.
now, you see, R. Kelly he lost his freedom just when he was about to lose his money. Right, so he lost his money.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
he lost his money. Right, so
Yeah.
therefore, in order for Diddy to actually get to the point that they're going to put him in the slammer or anything like that,
Hmm.
you will have to lose a lot of money first, and that will be in the course of several years.
Hmm. Oh. But okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the civil litigation against P Diddy. It'll be very interesting to see. That's all I'm gonna say on that. You know what? To a certain extent, I have to agree. Unfortunately, so but let's see.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait until the weekend, Jose.
Yeah, neither can I. And like I said, I'll be away this weekend. I'll be in Philadelphia.
I know.
So
One thing I'm going to tell you is do not go to Geno's and Pat's
okay,
because if you're Latino, their meat is not good. No Diddy. No, I'm just joking with it.
but
But the
you know,
thing is though,
yeah,
but the thing is though, between Geno's and Pat's, whenever they make their cheesesteaks, they have a history of not flavoring or not seasoning the meat. So therefore, if you're used to your meat being seasoned and everything like that, Geno's and Pat's is just a tourist trap. That's all I got to say.
okay. But you know, we mustn't forget that this Sunday is Dominican Mother's Day.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So before anything, I just want to say a huge shout out to all the Dominican mothers and
Yeah,
all the
Feliz Dia de la Madres Dominicana.
exactly not only to the biological Dominican mothers, but every Dominican lady who in some way uh, poses a positive motherly image to another person.
Yes,
Okay, because you could be a mother, you can be a grandmother, you can be an aunt, you can be a female mentor. I mean, and one thing I have always said that the great moms, they're the unsung heroines of today.
exactly.
Well, we
Yep.
shall see. We shall see because I said and this is something I said last night. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and I mean everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
And I know that tomorrow night I'm going to have like my martial arts special. So I'm trying to gather all the martial arts experts that I know. Because I know that last week, me and my two friends who are martial arts experts, we had like talking about the martial arts expert. Here's one right now. Yeah, shout out to Pete K Darkness. Tomorrow we're gonna actually have that show, Pete. You know what I mean?
Good evening, Pete.
Yeah. One thing I gotta do.
Yes. Um, Actually, I think this is the first time I actually seen him. Okay, that I actually seen him. I imagine he's been in the chat a couple of times.
Yeah. Actually, now Pete got the wrench now. So two people that actually came here, they got the wrench now. So yeah, Pete's been on video a couple of times. And he's actually one of the regulars in my own show too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop off. It's always a
It
pleasure to
was,
stop by, and
yeah, it's always a pleasure.
yeah. So if I don't see you in any of my streets, I'll see you in Philadelphia.
Yep, I can't wait. So hopefully, you know what? I'm gonna try. Like this time around, we got to go to Maluga this time around. You know what I'm saying? You're doing it big, Pete.
Okay. So we're talk. Yeah. So we'll talk about it offline. So good night.
All right, you too.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
All right, bye. Well, Pete, to keep you up to date, we was actually talking about the passing of the Iranian leaders. So I was just actually trying to pose the question, how's this passing is going to affect the geopolitical spectrum of the Middle East. So since I'm kind of, but not really familiar with the politics or geopolitics of the Middle East. Maybe you might have some insight, Pete, because you've been and salute to you and thank you for your service in the U.S. military. So I would say that a person who is in the military will have more knowledge than I do when it comes to, I guess, the geopolitical spectrum when it comes to the Middle East. Mm. Yo, and this, and I'm like, I could actually say when I saw the funeral I guess the funeral procession in Iran, it was somber, but I mean, observing the TV and everything, it was just very interesting on how they actually had their funeral procession. So let's see what the future holds for the Middle East. And with that said, I'm out. Tune in tomorrow for Open Topics with Don Armando, the martial arts edition. Stay tuned.